Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. My name is Henry Anderson, and I am a kingdom politician. My main focus is to follow Yeshua and bring heaven to earth. So I am running for mayor of Atlanta. And as mayor of Atlanta, again, my focus shall be to bring heaven to earth. And one of the other things that I will do as mayor is establish a political party. And my political party is called God's Kingdom Party. And that will be the party to usher in God's kingdom, to usher in kingdom politicians in every office that can be held in the state of Georgia, the city of Atlanta. Now, I know what time it is. I know that Atlanta is the apple of God's eye. I know Atlanta is where God changed all of the United States. Right from Atlanta, with a man named Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was born on Auburn Avenue. Martin Luther King preached on Auburn Avenue. Martin Luther King had his national headquarters on Auburn Avenue. And from Auburn Avenue, he changed America. And not only did he change America, but he had also influenced different parts of the world, even Mandela, and helped Mandela become free by what he did here in America. So yes, that's my goal, is to bring heaven to earth. Now I'm going to do this as the mayor. So that means that I have to qualify. They make money an issue. They want $5,500 just to qualify to run. So that's one of my main goals right now, is to raise the money to do that. And God told me to run for mayor. And when I got it in disbelief, he told me to write my victory speech. And when he told me to write my victory speech, I knew it was him. Because only God knows the end in the beginning. So I thank God for enabling me to be his man of the hour. You know, I think about God and Ezekiel. I think it's Ezekiel 20. He says that he's looking for a man. He's looking for a man. And I smile when I say that, because there's a gentleman that was the mayor at one time, and he's running. He wants to run again, and he says that he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything bad as the mayor because he didn't want to disappoint his mother. But God is looking for a man to please him, not to please his mother, to please him, to please God. So I'm running to please God. I'm running to bring heaven to earth. I'm running to end poverty. I'm running to end homelessness. I'm running to end racism. I'm running to end all of the things that cause pain and suffering in the world. Because when you have heaven on earth, then pain and suffering is no longer here. Because there's no pain and suffering in heaven. So we have to know what's in heaven in order to bring heaven here. So you have to know God, and you got to know heaven. Now there's a lot of things that I want to do. I remember God told me to tell Shirley Franklin in her last month or so of being mayor that if she solves the homeless problem, God would allow her to be a governor for 2 terms. So I told her that at one of her community meetings. When I told her that, she looked up at the ceiling, and then she said she didn't want to be the governor. And later on that day, I went back to God and I said, well, God, why did you tell me to tell her that? And God said that He was giving her a chance to redeem herself, because she was one of the reasons why there were so many homeless people in Atlanta. And then he showed me how she, from her position as mayor, she was giving the gentry community that was gentrifying the black community $50,000 to move in to the black community, and $50,000 to refurbish homes. Then the city council was given an additional $40,000 towards their housing, which made it $90,000. So they increased the value of the housing to $90,000 to increase the tax base, which made it virtually impossible for the existing homeowners to pay taxes, which caused a lot of them to foreclose on their homes. So that's how she helped create homelessness. So that's why we have a lot of homeless people who are elders walking around in a daze because they can't pay their taxes. And then when Kasim Reed became mayor, God told me to tell him that if he don't solve homelessness, that God was going to take away his wealth and God was going to end his political career. And we know that he was under investigation. I still think that he is still under investigation, and I think that I am God's man. So God is going to take away his political career. He's not going to win the election. I'm going to win the election because I have solutions to the problems that we're facing today, like homelessness, like police corruption. I remember I ran for city council, president of city council, and I asked the police, I said, every community I lived in Atlanta, in the black community, they were selling drugs out of houses, in the streets, all over the community, selling drugs. I said, why is that? And I'm asking the police. And the police told me that it was because they allow it to happen. And I said, what? She said, yeah. It was a police woman. She said, they allow it to happen. So when I hear that Mayor Bottoms gave the police a raise, a salary raise, I said, she don't know what the hell is going on. How's she going to get them a raise when they allow drugs to be sold in our community? How is she going to give them a raise when they're killing unarmed black men? How is she going to give them a raise? So I thought that was very interesting. So we need somebody that is politically mature, like myself, that has lived and seen a lot of things happen and know what can happen. I mean, I remember I was in the 6th grade when they killed Kennedy. I remember them killing Malcolm. I remember them killing King. I remember them killing Medgar Evers. I remember them killing all of these black leaders and non-black leaders and could-be black leaders, you know, and these people act like they don't know what's going on. They act like they don't know that we're at war, a war against the black man to become self-sufficient. I remember going to Philadelphia, and I remember it was a lot of men, a lot of women. They were writing a new constitution, and they had this guy that was fondling a friend of mine that I had brought down there, a little mentee. And I told him to tell that guy to get his hands off of him, and he did. But what that taught me was that J. Edgar Hoover had infiltrated the movement with gay men. And I said to myself, I'm not fighting in this so-called revolution for gay people. I'm fighting for the family. I'm fighting for the mothers and the fathers, the sisters, the brothers, you know. I'm fighting for the family, not for gay people. So that made me come out of the movement, because I wasn't in the movement for that reason. So now I see that Mayor Bottom has a special unit in the mayor's office just for gay people, just for the alphabet community. And I say to myself, isn't this something? When are we going to get it right? When are we going to put God back in the family? When are we going to put God back in schools? When are we going to put God back in business? When are we going to submit to God? Because if we don't submit to God, the adversary comes in place. You got to have one or the other, good or evil. And I'm for good. I tell you, I want to have good. And I like to open myself up for questions so that people who have concerns can hear what God is leading me to do pertaining to it.